chemicals that can be found in your menstrual product, heavy metal, carcinogens like dioxin and 1,4-dioxane, volatile organic compounds such as benzene, pesticides like glyphosate, chlorine bleach, and endocrine disruptors such as phthalates and parabens.
Essential products like feminine hygiene products should be universally available and affordable, not universally feared as something that will cause you harm. This is the short video. The longer version will be up on YouTube covering the regulation of feminine hygiene product in the US, EU, and Korea. The video mentioned two studies, one that covered increased skin absorption in the groin area, which is correct and well-established fact, and the other study done in 2020 is where the problems of interpreting are happening. The second study done in 2020 did risk assessment of chemicals that are found in pads. Remember, those chemicals are byproducts during manufacturing and contamination compounds. They are not intentionally added to your pads. The study assumed the worst case scenario, which means a very unlikely situation to happen in real life. They assumed that the skin absorption is going to be 100%, which means everything you apply on that area will be absorbed without any barrier function, which is not the case. The 100% absorption rate was referenced from a 2019 study that did also a risk assessment on chemicals found in pads and found zero risk. The 2020 study mentioned in the video used a very limited concept in toxicological risk assessment like the hazard ratio HR and the estimated excess cancer risk. Lastly, in the study, the researchers themselves acknowledged the limitation of that study, and I quote, "Using reasonable upper-level exposure scenario, volatile organic compound exposure from lifetime use of most menstrual pads and tampons was not associated with meaningful non-cancer or cancer health risk, except for several pads with high non-cancer risk." Again, and I quote, "The assumed exposure scenario, while conservative, may not accurately reflect all or typical situation." Lastly, always be safe, be super critical, don't be afraid to ask questions, and when someone tries to feed you with chemical names without mentioning dose, exposure, and risk, be very, very skeptical.